This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome back to CNN Student News. According to our reliable sources, the advantages of multicellularity is cell differentiation, which is where you have specialized cells for certain functions. This allows organisms to be larger in size and more complex, and they can live in a wider variety of environments. I need to get some laundry done today. What, John, what are you doing in my dryer?
To be multicellular, animals must be genetically similar, have cell specialization, have cohesion between cells, have ways to develop and repair its cells and tissues, have cell-to-cell communication, have cell memory, and have organismal integrity over cellular selection, meaning that the cell has to work towards taking care of the entire organism, not just itself.
I'm not getting any laundry done today. Oh, Tyrod Taylor, we were looking for you. Aren't you a Porifera expert?
Well, Porifera does mean poor bearing, and is in the phylum, the animal kingdom. It has 4 classes and about 5,000 species within it.
Thanks for this information. Can you give me an autograph?
Sure.
Thanks, Tyrod Taylor. Porifera have no distinct tissue layers or organs. The skeletons of Porifera can be made of spicules, which are needle spikes. These spicules come from amoeboid cells. The skeleton of the Porifera can also be made of spongin, which many sponges have in their skeletons. The first cell type of the phylum Porifera is pinacocytes, which have flat cells on the outer layer of sponges. Their contractions can change the shape of sponges. Some of the cells become porocytes, which help with water circulation. By executive decree of the United States of America, a second cell type of the Porifera phylum is mesenchymal. Mesenchymal consists of amoeboid cells in the mesophyll layer that the sponge uses for handling food, reproducing, making skeleton components, and for forming open rings throughout the sponge. Welcome back to CNN Student News with your weather report. Today there's about a 1% chance of rain. This rain is caused by the choanocytes, which is one type of cell from the Porifera phylum. These cells are on the inner part of the sponge. They are equipped with flagella, which help circulate water throughout. These cells are also have very close relationships with the cyanoflagellates, which are protists. Time to get me some Taco Bell. Taco Bell!
The symmetry of porifera is asymmetrical or radial.
Porifera can feed by filtration of water that passes through their cells by phagocytizing bigger pieces of food. They eat bacteria, protists, algae, and other organic matter. All but a few of Porifera are monoecious, which means they are both sexes. However, they don't self-fertilize. Sexual reproduction occurs in choanocytes, which use meiosis to make sperm and egg cells, which they release into the water. A zygote undergoes cleavage to form a flagellated larva, which takes just 2 days after it is released to settle on the ground and start becoming an adult. Asexual reproduction occurs when a sponge dies and releases a gemmule, which is a protected capsule copy of the DNA of the sponge. Sponges are also able to regenerate if separated. John, I had this weird dream that we were trying to save the world with sponges.
How would we manage to do that?
Well, as everybody knows, the ecological importance of Porifera is that many sponges are used to lower the turbidity of water because they filter 20 liters of water on average a day. So we just sucked up the entire Atlantic Ocean. The 4 classes of Porifera are Hexotenolita, Homo scleromorpha, Calcarea, and Demospongia. Demospongia are sponges with needle-shaped or 4-rayed siliceous spicules or spongin. They have a Lucon body form and can be up to 3 feet long. Will you be my brown tube sponge, otherwise known as the Aglius conifera, or my heavenly sponge, otherwise known as the Diceae etherea, both examples of Demospongiae, part of the Porifera phylum?
No.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ghost Hunter Cuddy out here in this abandoned basement looking for ghosts. I think I see something.
Homo scleromorpha have very small spicules and are encrusting sponges.
Dude, I didn't think I was going to see ghosts. I gotta get out of here. One example of the Homo scleromorpha is the Corticium diamantines, which is the marine sponge. Another example is the Oscarella lobularis, which is the fish sponge. We need to get some dog food. Is this the right dog food we want? Yeah, it's made with hexactinolita, which are vase-shaped, have spicules made of silica, which are usually 6-rayed, that are arranged in an intricate pattern, and have Lucon or Psychon body form. Yeah, this is the right kind of dog food we need.
Another class in the Phylum Porifera is Hexactinolita, which has the Venus's flower basket, or Euplectella, and it has Hyloneema, more commonly known as the glass rope sponge.
Calcarea have spicules that are made of calcium carbonate that are needle-shaped or in rays of 3 or 4.
Calcarea can have Ascon, Lucon, or Psychon body forms. All members are marine. Hey bro, did you know one example of the Calcarea is the smooth urn sponge, otherwise known as the Lucilia non-latingi?
No. Have you heard of the small calcareous cup? Its scientific name is Psychon ciliatum, and it's also part of Calcarea.
Whoa! The next phylum is the phylum Nideria, which means stinging structures. There's over 9,000 species in this phylum.
Dr. Simpson, could you teach me about Nigerian tissues?
I would love to. Did you know I was a famous football player one time? I'm now best known for murdering people. Nigerian tissues are diploblastic, meaning the cells organize into layers that have specific jobs. The endoderm is made up of 2 parts, the epidermis and the gastrodermis, which are mainly used for food gathering and for movement. Nematocysts are fluid-filled, coiled up, and enclosed tubes that are used for defense that form in the epidermis and the gastrodermis. There is a 3rd layer, though, which is in between the epidermis and the gastrodermis, called the mesoglia. Additionally, the outer layer of Niderians is called the ectoderm, which has cnidocytes. Cnidocytes have nematocysts within them, and when touched, the nematocyst shoots out and stings you, which relates all Niderians back to each other, and they all have a stinging structure.
Do they really?
They do.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for the information. I'm gonna head out now.
Nideria have hydrostatic skeletons, which means that they're supported by fluid. Niderians have radial symmetry! Taco Bell! Ah! Niderians feed using tentacles that are embedded with stinging nematocysts. The nematocysts paralyze the prey and then contact bring the food towards their mouths. They use their gastrovascular cavity as a mouth, anus, a way to digest food, move waste, and as a means of releasing gametes. Most Niderians eat small crustaceans, and some will even eat small fish. For Niderians, the polyp attaches to the ground at the aboral end and has a cylinder body with a mouth, surrounded by tentacles. The medusa is like an inverted bowl, with tentacles dangling around it and a mouth facing down. It moves by pulsations. Yes, dude, yes! Next, polyps are asexual and sessile, and medusa are dioecious, meaning they are one sex or the other.
Nideria consists of Anthozoa, Hydrozoa, Cubozoa, and Scyphozoa.
Hydrozoa class consists of 4 orders, which are defined by their gastrovascular cavity, which is used for digestion, and also only has an opening for its mouth. It is also characterized by its chitin exoskeleton, by its sexual reproduction, which produces the planula larvae, by its polyp and medusa body forms, by its stinging cnidocytes, and almost all hydrozoa are marine. This one's for you, Mr. Frame. To begin with, one example of a hydrozoa is a fire coral, otherwise known as Millipora, and another example is the flower hat jelly, otherwise known as Alindias formosa. The 200 species of Scyphozoa are characterized by their tentacles, radial symmetry, stinging nematocysts, and its mouth being only opening to the digestive system. Its body wall has 3 layers: an outer epidermis, a middle mesoglea, and an inner gastrodermis.
What can you tell me about Scyphozoa?
Well, next in the Scyphozoa class of the phylum Cnidaria, there are lion's mane jellyfish, also known as Cyanea capillata, and there are moon jellies, also known as Aurelia aurita.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for learning.
Hi, how can I help you?
Just give me a sec.
Order whenever you're ready.
Do you have your order, Tom?
Yep.
Alright, do you guys sell cubozoa, which have small polyp, and the gametes come from the gastrodermal layer, and the medusa is a cube shape with tentacles? One example of the cubozoa is the sea wasp, otherwise known as the Chironex fleckeri.
Another common example is the common king slayer, the Malaking duck.
Hey John, can you pass me the new shampoo? Thanks. Anthosa have colonial or solitary polyps. No medusa, but they have cnidocytes in their gastrodermis. Gametes also come from the gastrodermis. The gastrovascular cavity is divided into sections that have nematocysts. Whoa, aren't you Richie Incognito? Can you sign my shirt?
No, but I can tell you this. The 4th class of Cnidarians is Anthosa. Common sea pins, which are Penatula phosphora, and fish-eating anemones, which are Urticina piscavera. They're all a part of this class.
You learn something new every day. Anaphora means cone bearers, and it is either ellipsoid or spherical in shape.
Anaphora have a gastrovascular cavity and has a gelatinous mesoglea.
The tissues of Ctenophora are diploblastic, which is very similar to the Cnidarian layers. It has an ectoderm, endoderm, and proposed mesoglea between the 2 layers of the endoderm, the epidermis and gastrodermis.
Porifera have a hydrostatic skeleton supported by fluid.
Ctenophora have biradial symmetry.
Ctenophora capture prey using tentacles and coloblasts. They ingest their prey by wiping the prey across the mouth. They also have a gastrovascular cavity and an anus separate from their mouth.
Today's perfect, I feel like moving around. I'm gonna kick.
Another class in the phylum Porifera is a Symmetry of Porifera is
The gastrodermis, which are mainly used for food gathering and movement. I did not know that.
Hey bro, did you know? One example of the cubozoa is the sea wasp, otherwise known as the Chironex. One example of the cubozoa is the sea wasp, otherwise known as the Chironex fleckeri.
The common king.
One example of the Homoscleromorpha is the Corticium diamantines, which is the marine sponge. Another example is the Oscarella lobularis, which is the fish sponge. Welcome back to CNN Student News. Dang it!